As a Jagua body artist, I've had the privilege of being in physically and emotionally intimate spaces where people get to be really, really honest. And experiencing that level of honesty with strangers irrevocably changed my life. You would think that as a temporary body artist, I will get all sorts of unserious tattoo requests, such as the infamous no regrets. I've only done it once, and strangely, it's much harder than you think to write intentionally wrong. But even in all these seemingly unassuming tattoo sessions, I almost always get to know someone really, really deeply and the beliefs that shape them. When I asked my husband's 85-year-old grandmother whether she wanted a Jagua tattoo, her initial reaction was, "Aiya, 买啦，金牌kia," which translates to, "I don't want. It makes me look like a gangster." Having a mother who initially forbade me to get permanent tattoos, this narrative on tattoos is commonplace in my Chinese household. So I nudged Amma a little bit by saying, "Aiya, Amma, 哪里会牌kia? 我做的 tattoo 真水耶." Which means, "Amma, the tattoos that I draw are so beautiful, it will never make you look like a gangster." And after some time, she finally relented. I realize in our lives, we hardly get to know our parents and grandparents beyond their roles as a caregiver. And that short 30-minute session with Amma, I not only got to know her better as a human, she also got to know a little bit more about me too. And by the end of the session, she couldn't stop smiling at the butterfly tattoo that I gave her, saying, "Wow, Simin, 你真厉害," which roughly translates to, "Wow, Simin, you are so amazing, talented, and spectacular." For those who understand Mandarin, I added extra adjectives to convey the gravity of direct Asian praise. But Amma wasn't the first client who changed my life. The first client to do so had a very simple brief. She wanted "I am enough" on her collarbones. It was my first time meeting this client, so I really wanted to make her feel comfortable. I asked her, "Why do you want to get this tattoo?" as a conversation starter. As I was trying my best to freehand words on her collarbones, I realized she was not responding. So I looked up. Big tears were already streaming down her face. She would later on reveal to me that this was one of the first few times that someone ever offered her a safe space where she can be fully honest about the vulnerabilities and struggles that she's facing in her life. This was the pivotal moment where I realized that I was not just a temporary body artist anymore, giving people 2-week tattoos. Due to the intimacy of my craft, it becomes a medium in which me and my clients get to explore how to most honestly witness who they are right now. And sometimes, that kind of honesty requires more courage than getting a tattoo that lasts forever. When I witness the sheer humanity in all my clients, in their struggles and in their wins, it in turn makes me acknowledge and witness my own too. And it pushes me to be more honest with myself and my craft. When I first started doing Jagua tattoos in university, I saw it as a quick way for me to pay off tuition fees. In my 20s, my idea of success was simple. It was to earn as much money as possible. Full stop. That led me to believe that chasing money would equate to having eternal happiness. And that would finally make me prove to the world and my mom that artists do, in fact, make money. When I was chasing money so blindly, I didn't realize I wasn't being completely honest with myself. Because at the peak of my career, when I achieved all my extrinsic goals, I found myself feeling lost instead of eternal joy. When you share this vacuum of vulnerability and honesty with so many strangers, that feeling never really leaves you. In fact, it pushes me to be more honest and more inquisitive about my purpose and why I do what I do. I used to do temporary tattoos as a means to earn money, And now I do it in order to hone my skills to tell better stories and to provide safer spaces where people can be more honest with themselves and be witnessed while doing it. When you open yourself up to that kind of honesty, it can sometimes surprise you. I would like to always say that the person who impacted my journey the most was my mom. When I was little, I remember asking her all the time, "Mommy, can I have permanent tattoos, please, when I grow up?" And she would always say, "No, they're so ugly. They'll make you look like a gangster." Luckily, I didn't allow that to stop me from liking them and from pursuing art eventually, because it gave me the career that I have today. As I gave more and more Jagua tattoos at home, my mom slowly saw tattoos as art as well, and not just a gang symbol. One day, she came home early from work, and I was still in the midst of an appointment. So she stood behind me, admired my work for a good few seconds, and said, "So pretty." A few days later, she asked me for a Jagua tattoo. At that time, it was 4 years of me doing tattoos for a living, and it was the first time ever asking me for one. So I was so ready. With my trusty Jagua cone in one hand and her arms stretched out across me, I asked her, "What would you like to get?" And she said, "Yeah, anything lah, anything." I thought she was just being her coy Asian mother self. So I said, "What do you mean by anything? I can draw literally so many things. There must be something that you like." And to my surprise, she replied, "Yeah, really anything lah. I just want something to show off to my colleagues that my daughter does temporary tattoos." In that moment, nothing else was said. But I finally realized that she has accepted me and my love for tattoos. And I finally understood just how proud she is of me and my unconventional career path. That's the beauty of honesty. It inspires connection. It gives people the courage to accept themselves and open themselves up to living a life that is much fuller and truthful to them. And I call it courage because to be radically honest with yourself means letting yourself be fully seen, risking judgment, risking rejection, all because you know that that is so much better than leading a life where you simply cannot be you. The first client asked me to ink "I am enough." At that time, I thought I was just giving her a temporary tattoo. But what she was really asking for was a mirror, a safe space where she can be who she truly was. And throughout the years of seeing this client, I've watched just how much more she has allowed herself to be witnessed and to be seen, one Jagua tattoo at a time. That's the irony. The tattoo disappears, but the truth of who we are remains. And maybe that's what living fully truly means. Always choosing the courage to be honest and unapologetically you. Thank you.